Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ha, Racha, Kwadash, Ma'ma. Double honor to the elder apostle and the elders of GMS. Double honor to my elder of this camp as well. Salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Karab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den camp of Yasharala here in Jacksonville, Florida. And now today I'll be coming out with a lesson. The title of this lesson is Esau, the misinformation specialist. Because as you know, when you try to inform people of what the truth is, when you go against the status quo, you know, especially on these platforms, the first thing Esau want to try to do is hit you with misinformation. You know, want to try to say you lying, but when the truth is, you're telling the truth. Esau just doesn't want the truth to come out. You know, so he puts out misinformation to deliberately lead you away from the truth. Before I get into any scriptures, I'm gonna get 3 words, and they're all derivative of each other, similar, but nonetheless, I'm gonna get the definitions. The first word is misinform. This is the online etymology dictionary. It says to inform erroneously, make a false statement to give misleading instruction to something or someone. And we all know Esau does that all the time. Why? Because he's the misinformation specialist. He's the liar. You know, he's the one that's telling half truths and whole lies. You know, the second word is misinformation. You know, and this one is another one that says 1850s action of misinforming, wrong or false information. You know, information that is incorrect. And as you know, when Esau says certain things, you have to take his words with a grain of salt. You have to listen to what he is not saying, because what he is not saying is the truth. So you have to listen to what Esau is not saying, what he's not speaking. The stuff that he is saying, you take that with a grain of salt. You know, you do your research on it, you look into it to make sure that it's factual and solid, evident and concrete. But continuing. And the last word is disinformation. Then it says the dissemination of deliberately false information. See, all these words are pretty much similar or pretty much the same, but continuing. The dissemination of deliberately false information when supplied by a government or its agent to a foreign power or to the media, with the intention of influencing policies or opinions of those who received it. I'm going to keep continuing. It says 1955 from the Russian word desinformatia, which is said to be from the French disinformation. But the French word is not as old as the Russian one. So there you go. You have misinform, misinformation, and disinformation. Esau is a specialist of all 3 of those things, because as you know, he tell half truths and whole lies. But let's get some scriptures. This is Psalms 58:3. It says, "Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do you judge uprightly, O ye sons of men?" And this is a question. And we all know the answer to that question, which is no. Because if they're not the men of the Lord, they're not speaking righteously. They're not judging upright. The sons of men that walk this planet, a lot of them speak lies, especially those of who are of the circumcision that know they're Israelites, but going off on doctrine, not believing in the name of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, and mainly, most of all, Esau, the Edomites, the border of wickedness. Verse 2, yea, in the heart, it's like yea, in heart, you work wickedness. You weigh the violence of your hands in the earth, and that's what Esau does. In his heart, he worked wickedness, a work of wickedness. He weighs the violence of his hands in the earth. He looks at the things that he's destroyed. He looks at how much misinformation that he's put out. He looks at how much wickedness he's done upon the earth, and he looks at that as power, leadership, when it is it's wickedness. Verse 3, my point. So like it. Verse 3, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. See, the wicked are estranged from the womb. As a matter of fact, let's get that word estranged real quick. It says, this is the word estrange. It says from the French word estranger, or to alienate. You know what I'm saying? From Latin, extra, like I said, extranere, to treat as a stranger, foreign. And this is the word estrange in a verb form. It says remove from customary environment or associations. Or estrange, another word, arouse hostility or indifference in where there had formerly been love, affection, or friendliness. So Esau is estranged from the womb. He is alienated from the womb. He goes astray as soon as he be born, speaking lies. As soon as they come out, you think, oh, little baby, that's a devil. That's going to possibly grow up and cause havoc in the world. It is what it is. Continuing. Verse 4, their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They're like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ears. So their poison, their misinformation, their transgressions by wine, which I'll get that in a minute. The things that they speak is poison. It's like poison. It's the poison of a serpent. You all know if you get bit by a poisonous snake, depending on the snake, it's death. Sometimes instant death. But nonetheless, they're like that. They're like a poisonous snake. It's all this misinformation, this disinformation, going around here misinforming people. Like I said before, telling half truths and whole lies. They're poisonous like the poison of a serpent. They're like the death adder that stoppeth their ear. They don't want to hear. If you speak the truth, it's a problem. They want to hit you with you're putting out disinformation, you're putting out false claims and things like that. When the fact of the matter is, they do it all. Esau does it all the time. Let's continue. It says, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wireless. So they're not going to listen to anyone that's speaking any wisdom, that's speaking the truth. They're not going to hearken. They're not going to listen. They're not going to take heed to the charmers. Who are the charmers? We'll say the prophets of the Lord, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, are the charmers. And we're speaking this truth in one way or another. You try to cut one avenue off, another avenue gonna be opened up. It's like trying to keep resin inside of something. If it ain't sealed right, that resin will leak out. And it's the same thing with water. Water find the smallest hole, is going to turn that little pinhole, that little small crack, into a giant gaping maw. And that's how this truth is. You can't hide this truth. You can't take away this truth. But Esau, he goes around, what? Spreading misinformation. Deliberately misleading people on purpose. Telling half-truths and whole lies. But continuing. Let's go to Habakkuk. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. It says, yea, he also transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desires as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all people, and heapeth, so like it gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So he transgressed by wine. What's that wine? The philosophies, the beliefs, and the doctrines, the lies, the misinformation and the disinformation. That's where he transgresses at. Keep the people asleep by not telling the truth. So he transgresseth by wine, by his words. By what? Disinformation and misinformation. Deliberately misleading people. And in this case, the whole world. Continuing. Let's go to Psalms. Let's go back to Psalms. This is Psalms 50. I'm going to start at verse 16. It says, But unto the wicked saith Yahweh, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? And we all know Esau's system, his law system. Every time you go in a courthouse, they want to have you swear on the Bible. They want you to put your right hand on it. And that's disinformation in itself when it comes down to Esau. Why? Because he doesn't go according to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. So why is he swearing in on something that he does not believe in? He tries to take these commandments and to declare these statutes of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. But the Most High is saying, why shouldest thou take them in his mouth? Like, what does this have to do with you? Verse 17, Seeing that thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee. So that's disinformation in its own. That's misinformation all in its own. When they get the presidency, they want to swear in on the Bible. Well, they hate instruction. Esau hate instruction. They hate judgment. So, and they cast the words of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai behind them. So every time you see an Edomite swearing in or putting his hand on the Bible, that's misinformation. That's disinformation. It's misinforming the people because he does not believe in the scriptures. Verse 19, I'm going to jump down. It says, Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. See? Esau, he gives his mouth to evil, and his tongue frameth deceit. Deceits are lies. A lie is misinformation. A lie is disinformation. A lie is meant to misinform. It's meant to throw off people. That's what it's for. And Esau, he does this very well. That's why he's the misinformation specialist. He speaks evil. He giveth his tongue frameth deceits. Verse 20. Thou sittest and speak against thy brother, and thou slanderest thine own mother's son. And that's what Esau do. You got to think Esau and Jacob are brothers. What did he do? He speak against his brother. These Edomites are constantly lying on Jake, and they constantly trying to what is it? They're constantly trying to demonize the men of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. What is that? That's misinformation. It's misinformation all day long. But then when you speak the truth, you say something against their status quo, they want to be like, well, you're misinforming the people. Esau, you've been doing it for thousands of years or hundreds, whichever one it is. But they slander their own mother's son. Esau always slandering Jake. Speaking what? Lies and misinformation. It's just that simple. Continuing. Verse 21. These things thou hast done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such a one as thyself. See, these things that Esau has done, the Most High has kept silent. The Most High ain't said nothing. But the Most High is watching and he's listening. He see what's going on. And in that Esau thought the Most High was like him. And Esau think the Most High is on his side because ain't nothing happening to him. The Lord said the Lord ain't did nothing. But continuing. It says, Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. So Esau thinking the Lord ain't finna do nothing. The Lord on our side. Why? Because we doing all this stuff and ain't nothing happened to us. Well, the Most High says he's gonna reprove it. He's gonna reprove these Edomites, meaning correct them, blame them, judge them. What? For the wrong that they're doing upon the earth. Before what? The eyes of the nations, the world, especially the eyes of Yasharala, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. Continuing. Well, that was it. Let's go to Psalms 52. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, why boastest thou self in mischief, O mighty man? The goodness of Yahweh endureth continually. So why boastest thyself in mischief, O mighty man? We already know Esau, the world has been given into the hands of the wicked. You know, Esau think, he think he's so powerful and so strong. He says, why boast? You know, why brag? Why be lifted up? You know what I'm saying? But the goodness of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua endureth continually. And what is his goodness? Him having mercy upon his people, him redeeming his people, and putting a hot, fiery foot in Esau's behind. Continuing. Verse 2. Thy tongue deviseth mischiefs, like a sharp razor working deceitfully. See? Like a sharp razor working deceitfully. The propaganda machine, the media pundits, all that pushes what? The mainstream media, what does it push? Misinformation, disinformation. It misinforms people regularly to keep people supposedly asleep. So their tongue devises mischiefs. They come up with mischievous, wicked things to do. The tongue is like a razor. They're always speaking evil about something or somebody when they don't get their way, just like a child. That's how Esau functioned, working deceitfully, purposely misinforming. Continuing. Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Selah. So again, Esau loveth evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. So Esau would rather misinform you or disinform you rather than tell you the truth. He would rather tell you a half-truth and a whole lie rather than just tell you what it is, what the deal is. As I said before, so you got to listen to what Esau is not saying. That's where the truth lies at. The stuff that they keep it behind closed doors, that's where the truth is at. So on the front end, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Still, though, look into it to make sure the evidence and everything is concrete and everything adds up. Make sure 2 + 2 = 4. Verse 4. Thou lovest devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. See, his Esau, he loveth devouring words. He loved words that destroy things, that destroy and misconstrued and cause things to be looked at in a what's the word I'm looking for? In a distorted fashion. False information, misinformation. Verse 5, because Esau really ain't looking for this. Yahweh shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place, and root thee out of the land of the living. So plain and simple. The Most High is going to destroy Esau, these Edomites, and take them out of the way, pluck them out of their dwelling place, their power seat, their tabernacle, where, you know what I'm saying, they're going to root them out of the Lord is going to root them out of the land. I mean, he's going to get them off the planet. And that's not misinformation. That's the truth. It's not disinformation. When we say things like America is Babylon, this place is going to be destroyed, you know what I'm saying, with thermonuclear fire, that's not misinformation. That is the truth. That's the hard truth. The truth the uncomfortable truth. See, the true men of the Lord don't put out misinformation or disinformation or purposely misinform people. Well, false prophets do the same thing. They put out false information. They purposely misinform the people. Disinformation, misinformation. Purposely leading people the wrong way. Because why? Because they're of their father, the devil. Who is the deceiver? Who is the devil? Esau. When you deceive somebody, you lie to them. You hit them with what? Misinformation. Disinformation. Continuing. Psalms 55, verse 20. It says, he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. See, that's how Esau get on. He attacked people even that are not against him. He attacked anybody that he put forth his hands against, anybody that be at peace with him. Coming at him, what? Misinformation, lies, deceits, mischievous acts. Verse 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words are softer than oil, yet they are drawn swords. That goes back into what I was saying. You got to listen to what Esau is not saying. That's the truth. You know, his words are you know, smoother than butter. You know, butter is real smooth, slippery. You know, but guess what? War is in the heart of these Edomites. Esau's heart. His words are softer than oil, but yet they are drawn swords. You cannot trust the border of wickedness. It goes back into never trust thine enemy. That's in Sirach. You don't trust your enemy for nothing in the world. Everything they say, you take it with a grain of salt. Pay attention to what is not being said. That's where the truth is. That's where the true intentions are at. Because why? Esau, he's the misinformation specialist. So he putting out BS to get you thrown off from what's really going on through his propaganda machine, his mainstream media pundits, and other platforms. But continuing. Proverbs chapter 10. So like your chapter is, oh yeah, chapter 10. My bad. Verse 32. It says, the lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked speaketh frowardness. So there you go. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable. The true men of the Lord know what is acceptable. What? What's acceptable? Speaking the truth. Forewarning our people, blowing the trumpet, let them know what's going on and how things are going to really go down. You know, the lips of the righteous are going to do that. Because why? We know that is acceptable to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Saying what the true name of the Lord is, the Father and the Son. Letting my people know that they're really Israelites. Speaking the truth. It says, but the mouth of the wicked speaketh frowardness. The mouth of the wicked going to speak perverseness. The mouth of the wicked going to what? Speak misinformation and disinformation. Continuing. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 9. It says, an hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the just be delivered. See, a hypocrite through his mouth destroyeth his neighbor. What's going on with Esau right now? He trying to formulate and figurate a plan to demonize the true men of the Lord. Try to come against his truth. You know, already tried, oh, it's hate speech. Oh, they're black identity extremists. And various things like that. Those are all misinformation. Why? Because Esau, he's a hypocrite. With his mouth, he destroyeth his neighbor with false words, with misinformation, disinformation. But through the knowledge of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, the just, the upright, the righteous are going to be delivered, saved, kept back from the destruction that is coming to this place. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 14. It says the law of a wise, so like the law of the wise is a fountain of life to depart from the snares of death. See, the law of the wise is a fountain of life. What's the law of the wise? The law of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. It's a fountain of life. These words that we speak are life. They are guidance, they're instruction. They are to inform you the right way to go, not misinform you. Continuing. It's a lot. I read the wrong chapter. Well, it was supposed to come out according to Yahweh Hashem Shai. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 14. It says, a man shall be satisfied by the good by the fruit of his mouth, and the recompense of a man's hands shall be rendered unto him. See, a man is going to be satisfied with good by the fruit of his mouth. When you're speaking the truth, you're going to be satisfied with good. You know, you're going to be looked at as an honorable and or valid source of information. You're gonna be satisfied with the fruit of your mouth. So if you're speaking misinformation, disinformation, deceit, guess what? The recompense of your hands are gonna be rendered unto you. So if you're speaking this truth, guess what? The recompense of your hands is gonna be rendered unto you. If you're speaking according to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, what? You get blessings. What's the blessing? The kingdom, having new bodies, having more wisdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, being able to break down the scripture so that you can be a better teacher, to teach our people, those who do believe. But for those who speak lies, who speak wickedness, well, the work of their hands, they're going to receive destruction. Continuing. Verse 17, I'm going to jump down. It says, he that speaketh truth showeth forth righteousness, but a false witness deceit. See, it says, he that speaketh truth showeth forth righteousness. It doesn't say he that speaketh lies, he that deceitfully use his tongue deceitfully, he that misinforms somebody or use disinformation. It says, he that speaks the truth showeth forth righteousness, but a false witness deceit. And we all know Esau is just a false witness, because he always speaking lies and deceits. He always misinforming, disinforming people. Verse 19 of Proverbs 12. The lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. See, the lip of truth is going to be established forever. This truth is always going to be on the planet Earth. It's always going to be around Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai forever. But a lying tongue is but for a moment. A lying tongue is eventually going to be shut up and cut off. You know, misinformation and disinformation, this stuff ain't going to continue forever. But the truth, or it's going to continue forever. It's going to go on. Infinity. Now, let's go back to Proverbs, last point, Proverbs chapter 13, verse 2. Again, a man shall eat good by the fruit of his mouth, but the soul of the transgressor shall eat violence. See, again, a man is going to eat good by the fruit of his mouth. Again, he that speaketh truth showeth forth righteousness. So if you speaking the truth, you're going to eat good by the fruit of your mouth. But the soul of the transgressor shall eat violence. And we already know who the transgressor is. The soul of the transgressor is Esau. Is going to eat violence. Why? Why is he going to eat violence? Through his misinformation, disinformation, and misinforming the people. So you got to take what Esau says with a grain of salt. Again, you got to listen to what he is not saying. That's where the truth lies at. Esau, like I said, he would rather tell you a half truth and a whole lie rather than just tell you the truth straight up. So again, Esau, the misinformation specialist. Shalom.